Curriculum for young children. Under this, we are going to deal today with curriculum approaches in early childhood educational programs. The objective of this lesson is to help the students to understand the different curriculum approaches in early childhood education. Curriculum approach refers to an educational system that combines theory with practice. A curriculum model has theory and knowledge base that reflects a philosophical orientation and is supported in varying degrees by child developmental research and educational evaluation. An approach to curriculum reflects the person's view of the world, including what the person pursues as reality and the values deemed important and the amount of the knowledge the person he or she possesses. A curriculum approach reflects a holistic position or an orientation encompassing the foundation of curriculum, the domain curriculum and the theoretical and practical principles of curriculum. An orientation expresses a viewpoint in relation to how the curriculum is developed, designed and the role of the learner, the role of the teacher and the curriculum specialist in planning the curriculum, the goals and objectives of curriculum and the important issues that need to be examined. The practical application of a curriculum approach, it provides a guidelines on how to set up the physical environment, structure the activities, interact with the children and their families and support the staff members in the initial training and the implementation of the program. There are many approaches to curriculum development, but they differ by various perspectives of curriculum developers and construct regarding the key curricular elements like the curriculum, the teachers, students and the context. Some curriculum developers focus on the student and their learning goals, where others focus on the effect of the teacher's action upon learning. Still others focus on the context of learning and the degree to which the individuals are viewed autonomously or as objects upon which the work of the curriculum is acted. The various curriculum approaches are the Bank Street approach, the direct instruction approach, the cognitively oriented high scope approach, integrated whole language curriculum approach, transformational curriculum approach, the project approach, the emergent curriculum approach, the open structure integrated learning approach, the scholastic early childhood program approach and the Waldorf curriculum approach. So, these are the different curriculum approaches that we are going to study today. The Bank Street approach. The Bank Street approach got its name from its association with the Bank Street College of Education in New York City. It is grounded in the philosophy of John Dewey and other early educational progressive workers, who were influenced by the Freud's theoretical claims of profound formative influence of early childhood years. The goals of Bank Street approach. First one is promoting autonomy and exploration, developing a positive learner self-concept by developing competence, developing communication and self-expression, establishing impulse control. So, this Bank Street approach emphasizes meaningfulness, continuity, depth of knowledge rather than achievement of specific academic objectives. It is known as the developmental interactionist model because it is concerned with the interaction of all areas of child development. It also places emphasis on interaction between the environment and child development. The child's environment and experiences are considered the foundation of the curriculum, which is explored in depth. The classroom environment and the materials under this approach are arranged in a conventional interest areas, which includes the music, art, reading, science, maths and dramatic play. Teacher made and the child made materials are believed the most suitable for the unique needs of the children and in individual classrooms. The Bank Street approach relies on competent teachers who are knowledgeable in child development principles and are able to interpret the individual needs of the children through their observations. The negative criticism for this approach is that it emphasizes the long-term goals rather than the specific short-term objectives. However, a few research studies reveal that the children's cognitive gains and motivation to learn are enhanced over a long term through this Bank Street approach. The Bank Street curriculum ensures that the children become lifelong learners and continue their learning process by interacting with their social, political and geographical environment. They are taught with the help of different ways like playing and learning with blocks, solving puzzles, going for field trips, engaging in other practical work in the labs. This theory believes that the school can be satisfying, sensible and stimulating. A school is an important part in the life of the child, the place where a child begins to learn, ask questions and experiment with the things around him. As the kid grows up a little, they learn to exchange ideas with each other and thus increase their limit of knowledge. Here, the curriculum focuses on making connection between home and school, and it includes the experiences of separation from home and the family. The children learn to build trusting relationship with others and how to be a part of the group. They also begin to understand how they are different from and how similar they are to the others. All children need opportunities to move and use their bodies. The young children do so constantly as they experiment with what their bodies can do, where their bodies will fit. Just as children like to manipulate the toys, they enjoy putting their bodies in, on, under, over, through, different and behind, around all the activities. The children also have an opportunity to explore the sound, rhythm with drums, xylophones and other non-pitched musical instruments. So, this is about the Bank Street approach. Now, after this we will see the direct instruction approach. During the early years of Head Start program, Engelman developed an approach aimed at helping the children from low socio-economic backgrounds to gain skills needed for success in the elementary schools. This approach is based on the behavioral principles of cause and effect, stimulus and response, and behavior modification. Behaviorist educational approach focuses on the teacher directed activities with carefully planned lessons, drilling and exercises for practicing important concepts. This model offered lessons in 3 academic areas of learning. They are the maths, reading and with precise teacher questions requiring specific student responses. The teacher uses constant reinforcement to motivate the children's participation with the use of both positive words of praise and tangible rewards. The other forms of reinforcement for learning includes the prizes, special privileges, special certificates, etc. The direct instruction breaks each learning task into smallest components and requires mastery of the simpler skills before proceeding to more difficult skills. The students are grouped according to their achievement. The teachers are provided with closely scripted lesson plans. The students respond to the teacher orally and as a group, and the group does not move on until everyone understands the material. So, this is about the direct instruction approach. The cognitively oriented high scope approach is based on the cognitive developmental theory of Jean Piaget. It was developed under the leadership of David Weikart. It was initially designed for the preschool children during the year of 1960s when there was a social concern for the welfare of impoverished children. The basic premise of this approach is that the children are active learners and they are in the process of constructing their own knowledge through meaningful experiences. This high scope model provides a way for the children to extend the cognitive development of children through key experiences in 8 concept areas. Active learning. It employs the use of all senses and allows the child to select the activities and materials for learning. Using language through talking, writing ideas and playing with the language. Representing experiences and ideas. Through art, through writing, through role play and use of senses, the experiences and ideas can be represented. Classification. Using a variety of materials to group and classify comes under the classification. Seriation. It is developing the ability to order, compare and match the objects. Number concepts. It provides foundation for mathematical understanding and computation as children count, add and subtract. Spatial relationships. It helps to assemble puzzles, explore the environment with their own bodies and describe the location, position and the distance of the objects in their own environment. And the last concept area is the time concept. It involves the understanding of the units of time like minute, hour, day, month, year, etc. and the sequence of time also. The role of the teacher in this cognitive approach is critical to effective development. The teacher must master the art of questioning, so the children's thinking will be extended. Adoption and modification of cognitively oriented approach is currently experiencing popularity and is being used in primary grades as a framework for self-directed learning. After this cognitive approach, let us see the integrated whole language approach. The whole language approach is philosophy about how children become literate. Sawyer and Sawyer characterized this approach as using the whole text and literature for literacy learning and facilitating a child-centered atmosphere, a cooperative learning and parent involvement in learning. Based on the body of research called emergent literacy, proponents of the whole language instruction believe that language learning is self-generated and creative. The language learning is holistic. That means we learn to speak by listening. We learn to read through our own writings or the writing of others. And the language learning is social and collaborative. Language is learned by the children through observation, interacting with the parents and other literate persons. Learning language is functional and integrative. That means learning to read by reading, learning to write by writing, and the ways the language is used is related to other meaningful aspects of the life. Language learning is variable. Not all children learn to read in first grade. Some children may read in other grades. Language learning begins very early in life for most children living in literate societies. That means the children come to school knowing a great deal about the literacy, that is how to turn pages, what are the words and etc. The children learn language through active engagement, constructing their understanding of language works, that is through reading, writing, speaking, listening. All these experiences allow the children to explore and understand the written as well as the spoken word. So, this approach has received considerable attention and effort on the part of early childhood education teachers. So, after this language approach, let us move on to see the transformational curriculum approach. The transformational curriculum approach was proposed by Rose Grant. The transformation or changes are two-folded. The curriculum is transformed in response to the developmental needs and interest of the child, and the child is transformed as a result of the curriculum. This model is based on the meaning-centered, integrated, mindful curriculum that is building on the child developmental knowledge in all the domains. The individual developmental continuum of each child in the group, and that involves the realistic development of learning goals that provides a flexible framework for instruction, both in the grade level as well as the developmental stage level. Conceptual organizers, the glue that makes the curriculum integrated, meaningful and relevant. So, these are the different approaches. Let us move on to see some more approaches towards curriculum in early childhood education. The project approach. What is a project? A project is an extensive study undertaken by an individual child or a group of children that incorporates writing, measurement, drawing, painting, model making, reading, creating stories, dramatics, fine arts according to the abilities of all the children who are participating in that project. In selecting a topic for the project, several criteria should be considered. The first one is relevancy to the child and usefulness in later life. Potential for the curricular integration and study of the real objects. Potential for in-depth study for a week or more. Opportunity for problem solving, collaboration and cooperation among the children. Opportunities for construction, investigation and dramatic play. Opportunities for parent involvement and dramatic play. And lastly, the availability of local resources should also be taken into consideration. The topic of the project has to be stated in the form of question rather than a single word. For example, how the gardens grow. Instead of having the title as just gardens, it can be rather a question type, how the gardens grow. After the topic selection, the teacher has to engage the children in discussion to know their potential experiences and knowledge about the topic through their drawings, through writings and models. It helps the teacher to determine the child's background and their special interest. This is about the project approach. Now, let us move on to see the emergent curriculum approach. Jones and Nimmo describe the emergent curriculum as responsiveness to a particular people in a particular place at a particular time. It requires adults to trust in the power of play and the power of children's choices, and the teachers to be professional who shape and guide those choices into curriculum that is meaningful and cognitively challenging for all the children. This approach differs from the traditional thematic approach, which is based on the predetermined themes for a set time period. Emergent curriculum approach, on the other hand, makes use of themes that are important and relevant to the children. What are the sources of emergent curriculum? Children's interest. Children's interest should be acknowledged, supported, which automatically motivates them to learn. The teacher interest. The teacher or the people with interest of their own and which are worth sharing with the children. Developmental tasks. At each developmental stage, there are tasks to be mastered. Appropriate curriculum provides many opportunities for the children to choose activities, providing them skill practice and achieve the developmental tasks. things in physical environment. The man-made things in their physical environment are typically standardized, predictable. The natural things that are unstandardized, unpredictable. The children need to experience with both of them. People in social environment. Children are interested in all sorts of people, who they are, what they do, so they can learn about them and relate to them. Curriculum resource materials. Children's libraries, the school resources centers are full of curricular ideas and ready to use. So, they can be used as per the children's interest. The next one is the serendipity, unexpected events. When the unexpected happens in the classroom or in the community or in country, the teacher have choices. They can invent ways of incorporating these activities in their plans. They have to be skilled in spot decision making. Living together, conflict resolution, caregiving routines like the cooperation, expression of feeling, conflict resolutions and all the daily living tasks of living together are potential curriculum for young children. The next approach is open structure integrated learning approach. This approach holds the belief that human beings, whether adults or children, function at their best when their behavior is creative and responsible. It holds a conviction that the children should be given the freedom, encouragement and guidance necessary for emergency and reinforcement of their creative and problem solving responses. The overriding feature of this approach is built on the feeling of competence and eagerness of learning in each child. It is based on the theories and educational philosophies of Brunner, Dewey, Erik Erikson, Maslow, Piaget and Vygotsky. Open structure refers to intentional structuring of the activities for openness of the children and can use concrete material to be the active learners. The activities are developed with the purposes in mind. So, what are the purposes when we are developing activities in this approach? To elicit the original thought, effort, problem solving behavior and personalized responses from children. To develop innovative teaching and learning methods and motivational techniques in areas where more effective methods and materials are needed. Open structure includes learning opportunities through art, music, games, experiment, wordplay and concept development. Blocks, musical activities are some of the methods suggested to promote the concepts in children. After having understood different curriculum approaches, let us move on to see some of the other approaches. The Scholastic Early Childhood Program is a comprehensive year-long curriculum that provides explicit instruction in early language, reading and math skills. It combines the child-centered explorations with the teacher-directed instruction. It is flexible and easy to use format, and also it provides in-depth formal and informal assessment. The Scholastic Early Childhood Program immerses the children in real world themes and begins with what is familiar to the children and connects to the world around them. So, after learning about this approach, let us move on to see the Waldorf curriculum approach. Waldorf curriculum approach is based on the profound understanding of human development that addresses the needs of the growing child. Waldorf teacher strives to transform the education into an art that educates the whole child, the heart, the hands as well as the head. The Waldorf curriculum is broad and comprehensive and structured to respond to the three developmental phases of childhood, that is from birth to approximately 6 years of age, and then from 7 to 14 years of age, and then from 14 to 18 years of age. Rudolf Steiner stressed to teachers that the best way to provide the meaningful support for the child is to comprehend these phases fully and bring the age appropriate content to the children that nourishes healthy growth. The world of early childhood educators works with the child by creating a warm, beautiful, loving, home-like environment which is protective and also secure, and where the things are predictable and in rhythmic manner. Here the response to the child in two basic ways. First, the teacher engages in the domestic, practical and artistic activities the children can readily imitate. And secondly, the world of kindergarten teacher nurtures the children's power of imagination by telling carefully selected stories and by encouraging free play. When toys are used, they are made up of natural materials like wood, cotton, wool, silk, shells, stones, etc. so that the children they themselves have collected them and they can be used by the play. Sensory integration, eye-hand coordination, appreciating the beauty of language and other basic skills necessary for foundation of academic learning are fostered in kindergarten. In this truly loving and naturally creative environment, the children are provided with a range of activities to prepare them for the later learning or for the life itself. So, today we have learned about the curriculum approach. We have seen what do we understand by the word curriculum approach, and we have seen the different types of curriculum approaches like the Bank Street approach, direct instruction approach, the language approach, the emergent curriculum approach, the project approach and also the cognitive approach and Waldorf curriculum approach. So, in all these approaches, the 6 features of curriculum are there, that is the teacher, the learner, knowledge, skills, values, strategies and methods. I hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you.